Going back up to loan limits, it says for the first time, Parent Plus borrowers are also capped annually at $20,000 with an aggregate cap of $65,000 per dependent. Now, where does this come into play? For graduate degrees, up to this point, now we're talking about loan caps, but for graduate degrees, there has been a long period of time when there was no cap on how much a student can borrow. For undergraduate degrees, however, there has been a cap for years as to how much a student can borrow. And if you went to a school where the expenses were just very, very high and you had capped out yourself in terms of what you could borrow as a student, you had the ability to go to your parents and have them take out Parent Plus loans on your behalf. As an example, you might go to a school like Vanderbilt where all-in costs are now exceeding $100,000 per year. Well, if you can't make up that difference on your own, you may have a Parent Plus loan that a parent takes out where you're the student but they're the borrower for $50,000 for each of the years that you're in school. And now when you leave, you have a parent that has a couple $100,000 worth of student loans that they took out on behalf of their child. Now, I am not arguing that that's a good scenario. We talk to people all the time whose finances have just been torn apart by the journey of repaying a Parent Plus loan, but at the very least, it was an option, and you had the right to decide whether that was something you wanted to pursue or not. Now the Department of Education is saying you don't have that option. It's $20,000 per year per dependent and $65,000 in total per dependent. Now that is, for most schools, a decent amount of money, but it also leads to the possibility that there will be a child who gets into the college of their dreams for an undergraduate degree, but for reasons not just in terms of the amount of aid they receive, but even being able to make up the gap with a Parent Plus loan, they either decide not to go or have to turn to private student loans. So it's not like they're just doing away with this problem. It's more of a shifting the responsibility from the federal government to either the student who decides not to go or putting them in an even more precarious situation by forcing them to take out private student debts with less flexibility for repayment and no options for forgiveness.